Today we are going to be talking about door knocking, why it's the best thing to do for your business and how it's going to help you grow. As always, my name is Peter Bolin and I've closed over $50 million in commercial cleaning contracts, and I'm literally just here to tell you what's working for us. Now, in all honesty, we don't do door knocking anymore. And it's not because it doesn't work. It's because we operate from one location across the country and actually even into another country. And it doesn't make sense for us to have guys in a city door knocking and have guys away from a city cold calling. Every single thing we do is literally just by cold call and screen share. But how I built this business was off of door knocking for the first year. And in the first year, we ended up doing $250,000 a year in sales. I knew nothing about cleaning and it worked. And we got some big clients off of it, $9,000 clients and a lot of $500 to $1,000 clients. So it works. You just have to do the work to make it work. The other reason why door knocking is so good is because you are literally right in front of your prospect. You are going to their business. You need to understand that every single step away you take from your prospect, the harder it is to get business. So an example of this is like door knocking. You are right in their face. Next thing you go is to cold calling. So there's a lot more distance. You're not in their face. It's easier for them to hang up on you. So it gets a little bit harder. And then there's email. For email, you're going to have to send out 10,000 to get a few responses. And then you have text messages, which they can just easily ignore. And then you have Google AdWords, which again, they could easily ignore. So the further you get away from your prospect, the harder it is for you to sell them. Door knocking to me is the best because you're right in front of them and they can't really shoo you away too bad. If you are a good communicator or you've at least practiced a lot, there's a good chance they're going to let you through if you keep coming back and you do things correctly. For me personally, about one of the 8 businesses I knock doors on, I would get a quote from, which is awesome because cold calling's like 1 out of 100. Emails like a few out of 5 to 10,000. So this to me is the highest ROI. Plus, you almost get to do the quote right away if you do it right and close a contract down within a few days if you find somebody that is unhappy. So those are the main reasons why I think door knocking is the best. Another reason I love this is if you are a new business and you don't have a ton of money, all you have to do with this is just invest time and in a skill set, and it will pay off in dividends. So to me, it is the best way to go because it also puts you in front of clients. You get to see right away the similar things they're saying. You get to learn to overcome them. You get to deliver a whole bunch of quotes. So you get better at the quoting process. Instead of paying all this money to a marketing company, maybe they get you some leads and then you go in there and you blow it when you do the walkthrough. So to me, it is the best place to start. Also, if you have sales reps for your business, you really should get them out there knocking doors with an exact process and how many they have to do every single week and what the return is on it. Because they should be getting a few deals every single month just from door knocking. Now, let's go into the steps of door knocking. Step number 1 is branding materials. You need to have your branding materials ready. So branding materials look like a logoed shirt, clean pants, clean shoes. If you want a business card, I don't have one. I haven't had one in like 10 years, but a lot of people swear by them. So maybe have a business card. You want to make sure that you have a laser measure pointer, a binder, or a tablet to take with you to take the measurements. And you really want to make sure that you're looking professional and how you look matches your website and it is your brand that you're presenting when you go there. And the reason why you want to have this branding material ready is because when you go to the gatekeeper and you introduce yourself, all she's thinking right away is, should I let this person through to the decision maker or influencer? Is this person going to make me look good or look bad? And if you don't look the best, if your branding isn't on point, if you're going in with dirty shoes, dirty pants, stumbling on what you're talking about, she's going to think that you're going to make her look bad and she's going to block you from ever talking to them. Step number 2 is scripts. You need to have scripts. Scripts for what to say to the gatekeeper. Scripts for rebuttals for what you're going to say if she says no to you or she gives you an objection. You need to have all these written out, planned, ready to go for if and when they say it to you. There is an exact process that works, and if you follow that exact process every single time, you are going to get a higher ROI than somebody else who's just kind of shooting from the hip, going with how they feel for it, or making excuses as to why they're not getting walkthroughs. So it is important that you have these scripts and you practice them. Look in the mirror, ask your wife to help you out, ask your friend to help you out. I know it's embarrassing and I know it's something that you don't want to do, but you need to do it, because I'm going to tell you right now, what's more embarrassing is when you walk in there and you aren't prepared and then they give you an easy objection or they say something to you and you haven't practiced it. And what you end up doing is folding quicker than a junkie in withdrawal. So it is so important to have this ready, because it is absolutely embarrassing to the ego. And the more ego shots you take, what you end up doing is you end up just like going into yourself. And then you start looking for excuses why this doesn't work, or there has to be a better way. There's no way I could grow my business with this, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So if you practice, you do get better and your skill set evolves quicker, and then you get the money faster. But if you don't and you try to wing it, it is going to take you longer to figure this out. All right, number 3 is an area of town selected that you want to go to. It depends what type of business that you want to operate. Most people think cleaning and all janitorial and cleaning is the same. Residential, janitorial is all just one business. And it can be to a degree for maybe a larger company, but most of the time people pick segments of the business. So you'll have companies that are $100 million companies where all they do is go after $500 to $3,000 a month contracts. You have other businesses that all they do is go after high rises, malls, huge contracts that give you a ton of money, but a very little margin. But they're so big that they're okay with operating that way. So there are a lot of different segments within the industry, and you need to kind of choose where you go. I wouldn't choose like, oh, I'm just going to do dental, because the odds are there's not enough dental offices in your area to even have a scalable business. So I would choose kind of what strategy that you want. It's all on you. You choose it, and then go to an area that has it. For us, what we choose is buildings that get cleaned a minimum once a week, under $3,000 a month. So our average contract's anywhere from $600 to $700 a month. And we love that business because we can get any business that has that, and there are a ton of them. Now, when I got good at door knocking, I got good because I would go to industrial areas. And the reason why I liked industrial areas is because they all get cleaned, all of them, because the area is super dirty. They usually are attached to a shop that lets in lots of dust. They have an office that attaches to the shop. They have people in like steel-toe boots that are muddy walking in and out, a lot of gravel around there. So it's a little harder to keep clean, but it was easier to get my foot in the door because companies would suck at cleaning them because it was a little bit more difficult. So there was an opportunity there for me. And you could park at one area of an industrial site and literally just walk up and down for hours and get all the business. I started in a little 50,000 person town. There wasn't a ton of business there. And I took over most of the city in a very short amount of time just from doing this. So choose an area that fits your avatar, whatever you want to call it, and go there, start door knocking. Another idea that you can do is restaurants. The reason why I like restaurants is they're 7 days a week. They're usually anywhere from $1,500 a month to $2,500 a month that you make off of it. Profit margins are a little lower, but there's no gatekeeper. If you go earlier in the morning, let's say when they open 10, 11 o'clock, they're not that busy. Make sure you do not go during rush hours. And mid-afternoons, what happens is the general manager is usually there. And if you just ask the hostess to speak to them, they'll give them to you right away. So you actually get right through and right to a decision maker. So those I would absolutely get like 1 out of 3 people I spoke to, not even 1 out of 8. The numbers were so much higher with them. So if you want to practice on doing that, and let's say you don't even want a whole bunch of restaurants, go to a whole bunch of restaurants, get passed through a decision maker, do the walkthrough, practice on them. So when you get to the contracts you do want, you have some understanding of how the process works. So those are my options for you. Next one is you drive there and you walk in. If you walk in and the gatekeeper is busy and she's talking to somebody else, do not interrupt her. Go to the front of the desk, wait politely till she's done, and then start. Don't walk in like you own the place. Walk in with a smile on, a great attitude, very communicative, not nervous, not introverted. You want to really, really be outgoing, but in a positive, fun way where people want to be around you, not in a cocky, arrogant way. My daughter would say you want to have a good vibe. So I don't know what that means, but if you're watching that and vibe's your word, you want to have a good vibe so people want to talk to you. So now after you've walked in with a good vibe, you're going to walk up to the desk. Let's assume a gatekeeper is free. You walk up to her and you say, "Hey, how are you?" First thing you say. It's basic communication. You don't just jump into your script right away. You ask them how they're doing. She's going to probably say to you, "I'm doing great," or "good," or whatever variation of it. You acknowledge, you go, "Oh, that's awesome. I was wondering if I can speak to the owner or manager," if you don't know who it is. Or you can say, "I was wondering if I could speak to the person who chooses which cleaning company cleans for you." That's it. Very, very simple. You just want to ask for them. You don't want to jump into your song and dance about your big script, about your value proposition, because maybe 1 out of 20 times or 1 out of 10 times, they'll just go get them for you. And it happens more than you think. So if you ask that and they go get them, you literally just sit there and wait. And once they come, you go into pitching them instead of the gatekeeper. Now, let's say the gatekeeper goes, "Okay, yeah, they're in, but may I ask what this is regarding?" You then introduce yourself and give your value proposition to them. You're going to say, "Oh, sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. My name's Peter. I'm the owner of One Janitorial. We've recently taken over cleaning for some of the businesses in the area. Honestly, we found we can save some of them up to about $2,000 a year on their services and increase the overall cleanliness of their facility. Is it okay if I speak to the decision maker owner, or are you it?" And that is what you're going to say every single time, no matter what. You're going to say it very, very clean, like you didn't read it at all, and it was absolutely off the cuff. And she is going to respond in one of very, very few ways. One is she's going to say, "I am the decision maker," or "Absolutely, I do handle that." She's going to take ownership of it. 2 is she's going to say, "Yes, let me go get them." 3 is she's going to say, "Oh, no, they're not in." Or 4, she's going to make a decision for the business and kind of try to blow you off, which really means that she is a decision maker or at least an influencer in it. Because if she's making a decision for the company, that means she alone has an influence on whether or not you can clean for it, because she's making a decision. So those are the 4 categories. So let's start off with category number 1. She says, "In any way, shape, or form, yes, it's me." What you're going to do is go, "Okay, great. I was wondering if I could give you a free quote. It'll literally take 5 minutes of your time here. And this way, if you guys need to make a switch, you have something on file. Is that all right for you?" Now, even if you're like, "Yeah, but I just don't want quotes that have something on file," you're right. They are a waste of time sometimes, but you don't know yet if they have any problems, and you haven't earned the right yet to ask them if they have problems, because communication goes in a flow of easy to hard questions. And if you come out of the gate just being like, "Do you have problems with your cleaning company? And if so, can I give you a quote so we can take over?" it's going to scare people away. Think about it dating. You're dating with somebody, first time you meet at a restaurant. Let's say you get to the restaurant. You guys really haven't had any conversation before. A friend hooked you up. You're waiting. She walks in and the very first thing she does, she sits down. She's like, hi, nice to meet you. I want to have 2 kids. So I want to make sure that you're ready to have 2 kids within the next 6 months. You're probably going to be like, Jesus Christ, what did I get myself into? And you're going to be on edge for the whole entire date. Where instead, if she sits down and she says, hey, how are you? Really nice to meet you. I've been really looking forward to this. And you guys start chatting about what you guys do for work. What do you guys like to do for fun? How your day's been. And then as the conversation goes on, the questions get harder and harder and harder and deeper and deeper and deeper. Everybody's okay with that. But we're not okay with really hard questions coming out right at the gate. It throws people off. So you want to ask something very easy, like to give them a free quote for something that they just have on hand. So if they have an issue with their existing company, or they are looking at switching or even getting a service, at least they have something. There is so much distance between you trying to close them here and just getting a yes that it makes it a lot easier for them to say yes to it. Now, if they say yes to it, what you do is you ask to go on the walkthrough. The walkthrough is a completely different part of the door knocking process. To me, it's not really part of it. To me, a walkthrough is like you are walking through the building, finding discovery, taking measurements, presenting your price, and trying to close a deal. To me, that is a whole other part. So door knocking is just this initial part up to the point where you get a yes. So that would mean that that's a yes, and you would move into the walkthrough aspect of it, all right? If she says no to you getting a quote, if she gives you any other reason, no, I'm not interested, we already have a company, we actually clean in the office, you are going to create a rebuttal for it and overcome the objection and ask again. And then if you do that 2-3 times and she still says no, you ask if you can get her business card, send her some information, and then follow up in a month or 2. And then you follow up in a month or 2. And then what happens is you build a relationship with them over time. So when they are ready to switch or get a company, then they choose you. So a lot of this is immediate and there's a long-term aspect to this. Now, the second aspect is what happens if she says yes and goes and gets a decision maker for you. 2 thumbs up. You sit politely and wait for the decision maker. And when the decision maker comes, you redo the exact same script that you gave to the gatekeeper. You redo the exact same script you gave to the gatekeeper, but instead of saying, can I speak to them or would it be you? What you say is, hey, we'd love to give you a free quote. And if we did, would you take a look at it? At the end of it. And then this way you're going to get a yes or a no. That's simple. If he says no, you overcome the objection and ask again. And he says no again, you overcome the objection and you ask again. Now, overcoming the objection could look in a lot of different ways. You ask for a free quote. He goes, you know what? We're really happy with who we have as our company. You go, you know what? That's absolutely fantastic. I don't want to take away anything from them right now. If you don't mind me asking, when do you guys do look for new services? Now I'm into a conversation. We only look when we have issues. Oh, okay. Once you guys start having issues, is there usually an urgent need for you guys to switch over right away because the problems are getting out of hand? And he's like, sometimes yes or no, it's only happened once. Great. Then maybe it'd be best to just have something on file just in case that does happen and you don't have to go through this giant process. Would that be all right if we do that now? You ask again. It's just communication. You ask questions, he gives you data, and the question should lead you to your ask, which is, I'd like to give you a quote again. So that's if she gives you to him. Perfect. Now, let's say the next one is she says, no, he's not in. Hey, not a problem in any way at all. Do you know when he'd be back? She's like, he's on vacation for a week, comes back Monday. You come back Monday. Put it in your calendar. You come back Monday. If she says that, oh, he's just gone for the afternoon and you're still in the area, tell her you'll be back this afternoon. It's easy. You just say, hey, I'll be back this afternoon. What time roughly? 2 o'clock. Okay, I'll come see him then. In the meantime, can I have his business card? I'd love to just send him a voicemail letting him know that I'm going to be coming, and maybe an email with our services so he can kind of see ahead of time what we do. And then you get it and you send out an email, and then you call him and leave a voicemail. And on the voicemail, you say, hey, I was just in the area. I stopped by your office. Your secretary gave me your business card. Absolutely fantastic. We do blah, 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 right? I'm going to be back this afternoon to say hi to you. And if I don't get a hold of you, I'll come back when you are. And you just let him know that you're going to keep coming back, essentially, in a very, very polite way until he sees you. That's simple. Don't be a dick about it. Don't be like, if you don't call me back right now, I'm going to keep coming back until you do. That's going to get you a lot of problems and probably a restraining order. We want to avoid that. We want to be very, very, very welcoming, kind, polite. We want them to want to talk to us. And then lastly, which is the last step, which is she makes a decision for the business. To be honest, this is the most one that people completely and utterly miss, because they think the gatekeeper just said no, and they're like, oh, I couldn't even get the business card. I couldn't get any of the information. But the truth of the matter is, if the gatekeeper makes a decision for the business, it means they have an influence on who cleans for that business. And if they have an influence on who cleans for that business, great. You're talking to somebody you can give a quote to. Perfect. So usually when they make a decision, it's something like this. You ask, can I speak to the decision maker or business owner? Or would that be yourself? So usually when they make a decision, it sounds like this. You've asked the question, can you speak to the decision maker or business owner? Or are you the person who makes the decisions? And they say something to you like, listen, we're really happy with who we have right now. We're not looking. Or, you know what, we actually clean it ourselves, so we don't really need a service like this in any way at all. Or, you know what, we're just not interested. Thank you very much for stopping by. So you get immediately blown off, and you just follow the exact same process as you did in the other ones. You go, oh, okay, yeah, no, not a problem in any way at all. We're not actually trying to intrude here. Like I mentioned, we took over cleaning for some of the other businesses in the area. I'm just wanting to give you a free quote for you to have on file, just in case something happens with your existing service or whatever they have. If they're in-house, you would say, just in case you decide to go towards a cleaning something or you need us for something. Is that okay with you? Again, creates a lot of distance. And she's going to say yes or no. If she says yes, you do the walkthrough. If she says no, what you do is you overcome the objection 1 or 2 times. It is the exact same process every single time. And those are the 4 things that can happen when you're doing door knocking. Now, the whole point, though, is whatever happens, you get the walkthrough, you get blown off completely, and you leave. Once you leave, you grab that data from it, you enter it in a CRM, and then either sending an email or you schedule time to come back. People miss this. They try to just be one-hit wonders where they go, knock a door, and they never come back. They go, knock a door, never come back. I always tell them that I'm going to be back in the next few months, and I just want to see if anything's changed. Is that okay? No matter what they say when they try to blow me off, I always do it. And then I will come back in a few months and introduce myself. It's called nesting. The more you come back to a place, the more they get very, very frequent with you. And then over time, it makes it easier for them to choose your service because they see that you're not going anywhere and they really want somebody who actually wants their business. And they will give you a shot. We have one client now. We've had it for probably 10 years. It's $6,000 a month. It's a huge industrial facility, but it probably took me 3 years to get. I'm coming back every 2-3 months. Sometimes I would bring wine. I would meet the owner. I sponsored one of their events because when I went there, they had this sponsor an event thing up. I just chipped away at it. And then one day when I went in, they said, actually, yeah, we are looking to switch over company. They allowed me to do a walkthrough and I got the business. So sometimes it takes a while. A lot of the time you get it right away. And if you get it right away, it's usually because there is some underlying issue that they have. And once you start doing the walkthrough, it's your responsibility to find the issue. And that's part of the walkthrough. This is just part of the door knocking aspect of it. So make sure you get out there and do it. There is not a lot of money that you have to spend on this. It does take a lot of time, but if you get good, you're going to grow quickly. Just me doing this myself, I could close 6 to 8 businesses a month off of just doing walkthroughs. So if you get good at it, it's a real way to grow your business to $1 million within like a year and a half of you doing it. But it does take a lot of time. So I hope you like this information, and I hope you guys actually go out there and do use it and grow your business. And if you'd like to do a free